Do you ever ask what's the point? What's the point of all the spiritual struggles, battles, efforts, immense amount of effort that we pursue to awaken, to become enlightened, to become more peaceful, to become more loving? What is all the point of that struggle? And what are we ultimately trying to achieve? And it just had a real crystal clear insight or awakening that stop. We need to stop all the self-focus. So much of our spiritual growth is a disguise for the ego dressed up in a different outfit. And I'll thank Tony for that quote. Because we are shining the light back on ourselves and saying, and trying to accomplish all these things within ourselves and to change ourselves and become better people and more enlightened. And while all that has its place, it's like a crutch. Once we learn about the ego and we realize we're not the ego, okay, that's it. Let's move on. Yeah, the ego's still going to pop up, but so often we get bogged down. Is that my ego? Oh, that's the ego in someone else. And I get some comments from people, oh, I think that's the ego, or you're not practicing it right because you're still being dualistic and non-dualistic and reincarnation and heaven or hell and God exists, God doesn't exist. We get so bogged down in non-essentials. And hear me out. The reason I think they're non-essentials is because we have to just like an onion, peel away all the layers. And what is it ultimately we're trying to achieve by growing spiritually? Is it to become, these wise, enlightened people that are able to sit hours upon end in meditation? Is it that we're never able to feel the angst and the joy and the sadness of being human? Are we trying to just overcome that? And I think the most powerful spiritual practice is action, is taking action and getting outside of yourself, getting outside of your own suffering, and investing your life energy in helping others and becoming a giver. Because especially in the Western world, we're so conditioned to take, want, need, desire, feed, ego, all these things, and it's a voracious lion that is never satisfied. The way we try to overcome this lion is, we'll just give it different food. We'll give it meditation instead of, material things, or we'll stroke it and try to pacify it. What I'm saying is, let's channel all that energy, that vigor, that passion, that life energy, and let's infuse it in making this world a better place. And we all have heard that said a million times, and it sounds cliche, but really, that is what the end purpose of all these things are, of all the spiritual practice. And what we end up doing is we end up being spiritual cripples, because we take all these tools that are just really supposed to be like a crutch until we're able to walk on our own 2 feet and say, okay, I'm going to take meditation, or I'm going to take reading books, or I'm going to take listening to gurus, and I'm going to use it, and I'm going to really learn what the purpose of life is and what the reason we're here for. And that, in my opinion, is to bless the lives of others, is to spread our gifts, our love, and our ability to volunteer and help and be compassionate towards other people. And you can shortcut and to that path. Instead of getting bogged down and spending a lifetime in crutches, just say, what? I'm not even going to so much focus on that and focus on me and focus on fixing myself. I'm going to focus on how can I best be utilized to help the lives of others. And there's so many areas, starting with, you just got to find what you're passionate about, starting with what's going on in with factory farming, or old people, senior citizens, pensioners that sit in these homes and have no one to talk to, have no one to connect with, and have just immense amount of wisdom to share that, people ignore them, or children that don't have, a big brother or big sister where we could go and volunteer and be a role model to children, or tutoring. There's a program where you could tutor kids, homeless kids, or feeding the homeless, or there's just a whole plethora of different things we can do. And when we start doing those things, and this is the shift I'm trying to make in my life, and I realized, man, as I shift and become more selfless and invest in the lives of others, that I don't miss, spending hours upon hours worrying about my own spiritual growth. The spiritual growth is a natural byproduct of by the act of loving other people. And it's the most simple principle and most transformational immediately. You can't help but feel a sense of contentment after you've spent, a few hours blessing the life of someone else. It's just a universal law that it's built in to the system, that when you acts of love is the spiritual work, you automatically feel a sense of inner peace. Your ego is automatically minimized. You feel less stressed. You feel connected to other people. You feel a sense of accomplishment. You feel passion. You feel joy. You feel like life has a purpose. So we've just got to tweak it. We've been going about it wrong because we've been so busy trying to fix ourselves that we get mired in quicksand with I, me, ego, get, want. How can I achieve? How can I accomplish? How can I get more money? All these different things. And if we turn off that tap, it allows just a waterfall of everything we've been looking for. We can cascade and bathe in that ongoing sense of contentment.